I also wanted to show that you can fast travel from one territory to another. You can also fast travel back to your any of the houses that you bought previously. You just have to use Azoth, and then it puts them on a cooldown. So you can go anywhere that's out in the open world and TP back to your house. This is my house that's in Ebonscale. Ebonscale is kind of like an Asian themed territory. A lot of the stuff there is like symbolic of what you might find in Asia. Like you can see the architecture is very Asian. A lot of the stuff in here, like I said in my other videos, like I put in here, but I'm not the best at it. I'm not even very skilled. I don't have like the rarest stuff that you could put in your house for decorations, but it is very fun. It is very appealing as one of the people who does enjoy building and arranging like furniture and stuff like that in my house. Before I played New World, I played Conan Exiles, so there's a lot of building elements in that too, and a lot of aesthetics that are really fun. Conan had like an interesting combat system that was probably very close to, or not very close, but close to New World Aeternum, but it wasn't quite there. New World Aeternum has more like magic items too, so there's a lot of differences between the two. But New World is definitely deserving of its own category when it comes to combat. And like I said before previously, like every territory is gorgeous, and it's going to be harder to showcase now because there's the people who are left for Amazon Gaming who are like just kind of keeping the game running at this point. Like they have to minimize resources, so a lot of the stuff that is very very gorgeous in the game is kind of like dulled down just because they can't run at full capacity anymore. But the game is gorgeous. There's a lot in the game that's worth exploring. Like I said, a lot of the people who played this game before, they would play for their own reasons. But I personally played because the combat is incredible. All the other stuff was just an added bonus. But I played with some pretty incredible people. I met a lot of people who were very skilled at the game, and a lot of people who were very skilled at being leaders. There was a lot of refining that had occurred in this game, particularly with building companies. So like the skill that you would build with just speaking in big discords with like 100+ people, explaining to them like your vision, your strategy, and like what our plans were for various territories and how we were going to take them. Like there's a lot of elements about the game, like when it comes to wars, that required planning and required a unified effort. So communication was key. Being concise with your message so that people could gain exactly what you were trying to accomplish in a short period of time. Like if you were capable of doing that, that's one of the things that would set you apart from other companies. And obviously, not everybody's looking for the same thing when they join a company, but the elements of good companies, they were pretty consistent. Good communication. The leadership had to be kind of like fully dynamic and functional. They would cover different areas. For example, in order to improve in the war, they started making requirements for various people. They had to do what's called a VOD review. You would have to record your gameplay, and then you'd get reviewed by someone who is considered an expert in the company. And they would sit with you and review your mechanics and your a lot of different elements of the war scene that required strategy and know-how. And it was very, very challenging to get all of them right every single time. But the more consistent you were as a member of the army, the more chances you had of being slotted in future wars. And a lot of the future content was very reliant on who was occupying which territory. As you can see right now, this is Valhalla. Green companies control most of the map. Yellow's the smartest, or the smallest segment of the company factions right now, and then purple would be next to that. So my favorite was always green. Towards the end, I was in a green company, and then I was also in a purple company. I started off being in Covenant because that's what my buddy really liked. He liked the kind of the um, just the story of the Covenant. But these are the Marauders.
Go on, sling your hook, big brain. I've had my fill of your kind.
But yeah, they all have faction reps, so you would just join them through here. You can get maximum standing with different faction reps, and then depending on which territories the different factions would own, you'd have different soft benefits of being in those territories, like smaller resource costs or like more Azoth gained. There's all kinds of different benefits. It's hard to go into all of them. Like there's a lot of different elements about this game that we'll never see again if this game truly does get sunset. There's been like a lot of flirtation with the idea that there are some people who are interested in purchasing the game, but we haven't heard anything as a community. And I know that there's a lot of people that would return to the game if the game was going to be purchased by someone. The instant anybody knows that this game has a future, it's going to bring a lot of people back to play this game, including people that just started to play the game. I think the latest expansion into the territory, Nighthaven, was probably one of the best and most successful releases for the gaming community. I think they had at least 80,000 concurrent players in the peak of the Nighthaven release, and it was just like a glimpse back into like how successful the game was in its peak in Brimstone. There was a lot of concurrent players. There's a lot of elements that were super fun. Like with all the people doing the same kind of activities, you could just go there and just experience the game with all the other players. And that successful release is when the notification came out, or the announcement came out that the game was no longer sustainable and that they're going to have to sunset the game and no more releases would occur and no more content updates would occur. So it was very heart wrenching for a lot of us who have been, career veterans in playing this game. And I definitely can say that I will never be able to experience a lot of the elements that this game has to offer in any other game, and that hurts. As a very loyal player and someone who has definitely appreciated what the devs have contributed over the course of time, I definitely know that what they did was a miracle, or maybe not a miracle, but was remarkable. And a lot of the time, energy, effort, and investment that was made in making New World possible, it was painstakingly fought for them. So, as one of the people who is probably ungrateful for some of the other things, or very critical in previous years of the devs, like asking, oh, why didn't they do this, or why didn't they do this? It's so easy to see, but we didn't see the full picture. But we would still complain. Obviously, people love to complain and love to point out weaknesses, but largely the devs did remarkable work, and we can't get angry at them for what they made possible, because without them, this beautiful world with one of a kind combat system will never exist again unless someone picks up New World. And I mean that, being someone who has seen a lot of other games and have played with a lot of people who have played these types of games. They know that New World is one of a kind when it comes to combat. So anyways, I don't want this video to go too long. Please like and subscribe if you would. I'm just trying to use these videos as a way to get more exposure and hopefully reach someone who might have an interest in snatching New World as a future business interest. All right. Thanks, guys.